Well, hello. Good morning. Breakfast with the broker every Tuesday morning. Today we have a special guest at 10 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. We did a beach cleanup this morning, so we had to extend it a little bit. But I want to thank you very much for viewing. We really, really have an exciting guest. As we were talking off camera, he was even saying, "Hey, don't ask me a question if I don't that you don't want to hear the answer to, because I'm going to be blunt and I'm going to tell you exactly, what I feel." So, without further ado, and now, by way of Sugar Land, Texas, he is the team leader at Nimesh Patel Group at Remax Fine Properties. He's a broker owner at Remax Fine Properties. He's a dad. He is got the best damn hair ever, Mr. Nimesh Patel.
Wow. I don't even know what to say after that. How are you, David? Thanks for having me.
Good. Nimesh, we met out at R4 a couple times, and certainly we've been following each other through social media channels and
Absolutely.
such. And you just bring so much energy and information to a lot of the fellow broker owners, and it doesn't matter whether it's Remax or other brands, but it's just propping up the industry. Tell us a little bit about how you got in the industry, maybe a little bit of your story.
Sure. No, again, thank you for having me. Hopefully I don't bore you guys, but I got in this industry a while back, about 2002, and I literally got into it by accident. I had a job in the IT field. I was out in California, worked at Charles Schwab, came back to Houston because I miss my friends. I miss Texas. There's not something about Texas. It's just, you got the people here. It's crazy. It's really good. So I came back here and then I decided I didn't want to work for anybody else. So I started thinking about different businesses to get into. And in the meantime, while I had this amazing severance package from Charles Schwab, when I got, I raised my hand for the first layoffs, when it's like,
me,
me. You know how it is. The first layoff is going to be the best one, right? So they said, "Who would like to get laid off?" I'm like, right here. I'm going to go back. Give me my severance, So I took that severance, came back here, hung around a little bit. And, I got my real estate license only because I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to be rich one day. And what rich people do? They invest in real estate. So let me get my license just to do that. Well, lo and behold, I get my license. I'm in my late 20s, early 30s, and thinking to myself, okay, well, this is kind of easy. And it just happened to be around that time that every single one of my friends was buying a house. So I started selling houses. And as I did that, I'm like, oh, I like this. And so I did very well right off the bat. Moved to, I actually started at this actual firm that I'm at, Remax Fine Properties. But then I realized that, not to talk too bad about it, but the brokerage help was not there. Not like how we do these days. Back then, it wasn't there. I was so independent. I needed more help. So I went to a different brokerage for bigger splits, or way bigger splits. But I felt that the environment was going to be conducive of me to be successful. So I did that, did well. And then my brother, who was kind of following my same footsteps, he was out in California doing really well. He comes back to Texas because he misses it. And then he's like, we're looking for businesses. So we started looking at hamburger flipping joints, car washes, clubs, bars, anything. We just did not want to work for anybody. And of course, my mom, who's smarter than all of us, decides to say, hey, idiots, Nimesh, you're already good at real estate. Manesh, why don't you join him, because you're good on the financial side and on the operations side, and y'all can do something together. So we decided to buy our own Remax franchise. This is this one. So we come back to Remax Fine Properties, buy it. It was failing. It had about 40 agents, and it was failing really poorly. And it was right at the time of the worst, recession this country's ever seen, 2009. We buy it. And we're like, okay, now what? Like, well, you can swim now, right? So, and that's our quick story. We've grown it up to, we actually have lost some people over the past couple of years, but we grew it all the way up to about 184 agents. So we're the largest Remax in the whole country as far as a single office goes. Now we're actually dropped down. We've gotten a little bit leaner. So we're back down to about 160, I believe we are, right around there. But it's been a fun ride. So that's my quick story right there.
That's awesome. It's funny because as you you go through everyone's story and you look at the backgrounds of people, and it's funny because everyone said, well, I used to be a teacher, I'm a realtor, but I used to be a teacher, or I'm a realtor, but I used to, flip burgers, or, it's never like, hey, I wanted to be in real estate. This is what I was born to do. And until you get it, and then you start to feel it, and then you start to understand that you can change people's lives. The impact that you have on not only your agents, but your clients' lives is just amazing.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that 100%. I can't, you can't be in this business if you're not truly there to touch people. If you're doing this as a transactional thing just for money, I mean, look, granted, there's money to be had in this business. Absolutely. But if that's your own sole motivation, or that's your primary reason to get into this, that's not the place for you. We have, and you and I both sit on this side of the table when we're interviewing potentials or newbies or anything like that are coming in, and we can see it and read it from them. Because, you've been told, I've been told, everybody's been told, oh, you have the personality for real estate, do it. Well, it's not just the personality for real estate. It's literally, you have to care about somebody else way more than you care about yourself. That's the only way that you're going to be successful in this business.
It's amazing. And I was thinking about a phone call I had yesterday. I speak to this person probably once every 2 years or whatever. And he asked me for some business advice or whatever. And we're friends. We just, we don't talk that often or what have you. And he's pretty high up at JP Morgan. And he says to me, he says, I wish, and I guess this is maybe some advice to realtors, and understand how you make an impact on people's lives. So he says, I wish I had someone like you up in where he is. He's in Maryland, and he's buying something, up another second home or whatever. And he's like, I wish I had someone like that. And I said, what does that mean? Like someone like me? He's like, well, you would be honest with me. You would, you wouldn't sugarcoat things. You wouldn't tell me, that, you're not trying to sell me something. You're giving me the information. You're knowledgeable. And if you didn't know the answer, you would find out the answer and get back to me and let me know, and be very responsible. You're always there, as, really. And the one word that he mentioned, and then I'll wrap it up into a question, but one word he mentioned that really, really stuck to me was that, you were my advocate, and I think, advocate, what does an advocate mean? But I mean, that's a very powerful word, I think, going in this industry. And, and I hear about you and the impact that you have, not just on agents and, but brokers, around the country, because, you're an advocate to the industry. Tell us a little bit about, maybe some, I guess we'll kind of go into this. What is some skill sets or things that you look for in an agent? How can they step up their game? Because not every agent is stepping their game up when they need to, especially now.
No, I love that story that you just told, being an advocate. I think, the problem with a lot of our industry, and I don't know how your market is, but I'll tell you right now, the Houston Association of Realtors, we have over 40,000 members here. 40,000 realtors. Okay. So you can imagine how many of them are just looking for that magic pill, and how many people come to people like us and say, hey, I see that you're successful, or that other people around you are successful, your people are successful. Give us the magic pill. There's no magic pill. It's hard work. It's dedication. There's a lot, all the good stuff right there. Right. But, some of the things that I look for in an agent is, and it's interesting, when I'm doing interviews, if somebody's been in the restaurant industry or the bar industry, I love them. I love them right off the bat. And
I'm the same way.
Yeah, we made so many of them they've made themselves very successful with us, with the environment that we're in. But basically, the point of that is that they can multitask and still take care of people. Ultimately, you have to be that advocate, like you said, and want to take care of somebody else before you take care of yourself and your needs. And going back to your story about your friend asking you to be a advocate, I'll tell you right now, I used to always say I'm the worst salesperson ever. So when people tell us that I'm a salesperson, I'm a realtor, I'm a salesperson, I hate it. I absolutely hate it, until somebody brought up a point that said, well, that's your sales game, being an advocate, being that nice guy. And going back to your story, one of the number one things I did back in our day, which was when they gave out loans to everyone back in 2003, 4, 5, 6, right? And loans were giving, anybody can get a house. You come out of college, you're making $45,000, $55,000 a year, and you're qualified for a $600,000 house. I'm like, wait, what? So my biggest thing at that time was I talked more people out of buying a house than actually selling them a home. And that's what made me trustworthy, right? And so going back to this question on what are some of the skill sets that I look for that. I know it's hard to put that on a resume, to read that on a resume, but ultimately you're looking for somebody that cares about the other person. You can definitely be passionate about real estate. You can be passionate about what you do, but ultimately you have to be in the mindset of helping other people before you help yourself. And that's the number one skill set I look for. You can teach contracts, you can teach technology, you can teach, techniques on, whether it's door knocking, open houses, you can teach all of that, but you can't teach compassion and understanding and really getting to know the other person.
Yeah, no, great. So, I mean, you guys have 40,000 realtors. I think we have like 33 or 34,000. So we're pretty much, very comparable in as far as size goes. And one of the things that the Houston Realtors, came out and made some headlines, especially with the way society seems to have gone, is the change, from master bedroom to primary bedroom.
Correct.
Are you involved in the association at all, or?
I'm not that involved. I have a lot of my good friends that are involved. In fact, I'm actually doing a video after this for one of my very good other RE/MAX broker owner friends. She's actually running for the board for board membership, and I'm doing a video with her to get her out there. I haven't been that involved. Basically, I think that if I went in there, I would probably upset everybody because, like I said before, I'm very straightforward, and I think sometimes that's too much. But that's not the only excuse. I just feel like I think I know what I'm good at. I know what I want to concentrate on, and it's my people here. And I think if I spread myself too thin, I wouldn't be a great broker owner here or a good broker owner here. But being involved in that, and even in HAR, a lot of people were not involved, to be honest with you. It just suddenly, they just released it. I'm like, whoa, when did that happen? How did that happen? Can you get some opinions? And not just that, there's more to it. There's more coming down the line from all the articles I've been reading and some of the friends that I've been talking to that are on the board and all of that. So it's a very, very interesting times we live in. I know people hate saying things like unprecedented times and interesting times and all of that, but it truly is. And, I kind of go with the flow a little bit. I try to lead when I can. And ultimately, the main thing is understanding where we are, understanding why something is happening, because then I can go back to my realtors and explain why things are happening. So,
yeah, I mean, you have to listen, obviously, and, although personal opinions, don't really matter necessarily, I feel like sometimes, we do overreact to certain things, to societal issues and societal problems, that tends to put us in, sometimes an even worse predicament than we were prior to. But, it's interesting to see how many, how the terms are going to be changed and how real estate is going to continue to change. It's funny. I am heavily involved in the board.
okay.
I feel like I want a voice, and I feel like, I want to bring back some of the information to my agents and let me help the board, change and evolve. And, sometimes you have, the old hats that sit there for, a big, huge period of time. And, I want to be able to have a voice and have, good discussion. So if you haven't been involved, and again, who am I to say, but it's been very, very fruitful for me, both rewarding and helping the industry, but helping my agents as well. So,
and I love David. I love it because again, like I said, I think that you do have to know your capacity and what you're good at and what you can help in. And you're right, absolutely right. With our whole industry and the certain places that we get to, that you're at, that I'm at, I think we do have a bigger voice. I think we do have a more helping hand. And so with my friend, she's another Remax owner. Her name is Jamila. She's running, and I'm kind of living through her a little bit, going through that. But I bet you once she gets elected, she's going to make me get on there too.
Yeah, you're going to get on a couple committees, and then you'll be sucked in, just like me.
Yeah, exactly. But you're right. I think your agents, I applaud you for that. Your agents should be very happy because one, you get to bring them the information as soon as possible. Two, you're in the trenches with your agents, so that when you do take that back to your committees, then at least you're not like you said, the old hats, the old hats that are just sitting there not doing anything. You're in the trenches with your people, so that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. The funny thing is I really originally thought that the association was made up with a bunch of people that don't produce, that had nothing better to do than just right. Feel important. And at least with our association, it's been, there are people that, that produce significantly more than I do. And it was interesting to see because, most of the people that were in leadership positions are very busy with their original business. But yeah, this wasn't a soapbox association moment, but
because one thing that you were talking about me going around the country, I'll tell you this: the more I share, the more I learn. The more I talk to people like you, we're in so many different groups together. You and I are. And we're getting so many other people to share with us. And that's how we all learn. None of us know it all. Nobody does. But I think, when you see different perspectives, you become more informed on what the issues are or what we can do to help other agents and our agents ultimately. So I love hearing that perspective. So.
Absolutely. So what, we talk about technology and obviously and what we bring as far as technology. What technology are you using that that maybe you can't live without?
Well, the ultimate one is obviously still the iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I think the biggest thing that I'm using now more than ever is video. And I'm getting all of my agents to do video more and more and more. I think there's a genuineness to it. I think people can see your face. I think they can see right through any kind of sales pitches. And it's not a profound technology that I'm talking about, guys. I know there's so many companies that will sell you everything. I mean, we used to joke around when you're a realtor and you get your license, across your forehead stamped, sucker, because you're going to sit there and try to buy anything and everything that comes out. There's no point in it, you can talk about all kinds of CRMs. You can talk about all kinds of little apps and things like that. But ultimately, you still have to be you. And what's the best technology that's going to be you? What's going to enhance your commitment, your compassion, your knowledge? And I think video is the only way to go. We've been doing it for years and years. And I think now more than ever, it's more apparent and more out there. And so I'm seeing it within my own firm too. The ones that are doing videos everywhere, they're the ones that are really killing it. I'm looking at numbers from last year to this year because you know how you and I do. We're checking that every week, right? Mm-hmm. And year over year and comparing, and people are actually ahead of last year's pace through the COVID system, through our shutdowns. They're ahead of it. Why? Because of video. So, from video, once you get comfortable with that, then you can start doing the other technologies like the virtual open houses, right? The tours, things like that. So I think we don't want to get too carried away with all the different technologies that are out there. I think, there's an analysis or there's a paralysis by analysis when you're analyzing every single type of technology. Then you just sit there and you're not doing anything. It's the person that wants to read every book before they do their first contract. That's not going to happen. Just get yourself and do a video. I mean, the little bits and pieces of how we're showing all of our agents. I have agents that are 70, 75 years old that are doing videos now, and they feel so comfortable doing it once I show them a couple of little tips and techniques on how to do it,
Quite honestly, it takes about 100, 200 videos to start to feel comfortable. It takes a long time, but, every day that you don't do video, it's another 100 days, another 200 days, or whatever, it may be.
David, let me tell you, I'm not good at video. I'm not good at it myself, but I'll tell you this. What's his name? Nick Bailey, our leader. he said something one day to me that hit me so hard. I mean, slapped me in the face basically and said, so you don't want to do video. Why? Because you don't like the way you sound? Because you don't like the way you look? Well, let me tell you a little secret here, guys. In real life, that's how you look and that's how you sound. So people, people already seen it.
Listen, I almost didn't recognize you on camera because I usually look for the haircut.
The mohawk.
There it is. There it is.
But it's funny, and that's some advice I want to give everybody that's listening right now is that people have already seen how you look. People have already seen how you heard how you sound. So there's nothing with it. When you sit there and you look at a video all day long and say, okay, I got to redo this. Why? Start just sending them out raw as possible. And one of my techniques that I used with some of my agents here recently was we did a little challenge for our firm to talk about somebody else in the firm. Okay. So we don't have to go out there and talk about a builder, talk about real estate, talk about what's going on. Literally find somebody in our office that has inspired you, and don't include my staff or my brother and myself, and just find another agent that's inspired you or that you feel like they're doing something good, and just talk about them. And
I love that.
And that was it. And so our guys posted videos, and literally they were just taking really quick selfie videos of just talking about another agent in the firm. And we had a little contest for it. We had so many people, winning different prizes. And once they got used to that, it was so amazing how many more videos they started doing after that.
Yeah, it's it is amazing. I mean, obviously I have Jesse and Michael Thorne and Sue Pinky Benson and all these people that have kind of really paved the way to kind of give you that extra push into video and such. And that's why that's what inspired this show. Essentially was their video boot camp, the video summit and such. So
I love it. And I'll tell you, this show is great. I've been watching you, when we were in our mastermind group, you were talking about this, and I was just like, okay, I've got to copy that. I have to copy that some way, somehow. I still don't have it yet. I mean, and again, I'm not even taking my own advice. I'm still trying to perfect, this. And I'm like, okay, well, hold on. What if I sound like this or look like this? And here you are. You've been doing it for months and months and months, So
yeah, I think we're on what are we at? Over 2 or 3 years? I don't remember. It might have been 3 years.
I just found out about it in our mastermind group when we were on. And honestly, like I said, that was like, that's the trick right there. Do that. And honestly, I just have to do it. I'm trying to do what I'm giving excuses that my agents are giving me, which is, well, how am I going to sound? How am I going to have content? I'm going to do this. And it, Adam Contis has told us all the time, within our own brokerage or within our own group and all that, copy each other, give homage.
Absolutely. It's the best form of flattery. I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, Michael Coburn, I totally stole his idea with the 4th of July picture, Yeah. I mean, that's what we do. And it doesn't mean just Remax. It means, whether it's KW, Century 21, Coal Banker, Compass, all these other different companies, we're all in this together, and we need to help each other, regardless of what brand you're in. And and collaborate, because you know what, we're all going to sell each other's listings. We're all going to go to the association's parties and help prop up the industry. So that was the whole reason for this show, was to really kind of bring us a little bit more together and meet people that maybe I wouldn't have had an opportunity to meet prior to. It's kind of a segue and to perpetuate that professionalism and collaboration within the industry.
No, I love that. And I love what you just said. We're all going to be working with each other. So something recently that I did, and, you can take this however you want to take this, or, apply it to however you want to. But I had a couple of third-party people, title companies, basically for us. We use title companies down here. And I had them do a video. So it's not coming from me. It's not coming from anyone else. A Zoom calls or live calls just like this. And we had the brokers of all the firms in my area together. So we would have 3 or 4 or 5 different brokers on every week together collaborating together, talking about what's going on with the industry, talking about what's going on with our government, our shutdowns, how we're getting through this. And once we saw that message, the real estate world saw the message coming from all of us together. It didn't matter what brand we were with or what company we were with. That made it a lot easier. So I think ultimately, instead of having an adversarial relationship with your enemy down the street, I'd rather so let's chat about it. And I know you're gonna try to take my agents. I'm gonna try to take your agents, but ultimately, let's try to get the real estate profession better.
Yeah, I love it. No, agreed. So what other? I mean, you have a great culture in your office. People talk about it and rave about it all the time. But tell us a little bit about how you ingrain that culture in your brokerage.
Oh, wow. I don't know how to answer this one. This is a question that I get asked more than any other question. I still don't know how to answer this question, except that I'll say this. My mom and dad are still part of our firm. My brother and I, Nimesh and I are the owners. My mom and I actually got our licenses together. So we did real estate together, for a while. And then my dad, he's our accountant. So still to this day, still asks me why I spent $200 at a bar, So as far as how they instilled all of this in me, and my brother, I think that's where it came from. It really just came from a family atmosphere. And as much as I like to tell everybody we're the largest RE/MAX, single office out there, I really like to tell everybody that we're one small big family, and so we keep it familial as possible. My brother and I are available at all times. I get text at 11:30 on a Friday night, and I'll walk out from wherever I am and talk to them. And then we just kept bringing in people together more and more and more. It wasn't just about education. Yes, we want to provide education. We want to provide things. But it was also about getting together, helping each other. And of course, just as well as I do, the burden that you and I have to carry when somebody comes to us and say, hey, they're having issues at home with, a family member being sick or something happening, right? We carry those burdens until we're allowed to put that out there. Once we do, then we just get our whole firm together to come together and help them out. So, I think the main thing is we've just been trying to get everybody together as much as possible. It could be simple things when it comes to awards. We do happy hours all of the time. Not right now, we don't. And that's kind of where I'm missing it a little bit. But we do Zoom happy hours. Point is just getting people together to get to know them, get them to all know each other more and more and more, even with our closed Facebook group. So our culture, I know every broker with whatever firm you're with, every broker talks about culture. The one thing that I'm very proud to say is what you just brought up is our culture, I believe, is second to none. Everyone out here it's what we call is a cooperative competition. They love competing with each other, but they also like to back each other up. I think that's what we've instilled. And I think as our agents that have been here for a longer period of time, as you see the top producers still doing that to the younger or newer producers, they get that instilled upon them as well.
Love it. So I always ask the last couple questions. What do we not know about Nimesh that you care to share?
Let's see. What do you not know about Nimesh? I think if you're on my Facebook group, you probably know this, but the audience here probably doesn't. I live, breathe, and eat, and just everything. My schedule all revolves around my two dogs, which I think you might be able to see back there on the paintings. I'm a dog person. That's it. My whole firm knows it. They know Jordan and Jewel. Everything revolves around them. I don't have kids. I don't have, those are my kids. I'm not married, but anything, I bought a new house for my dogs just because my dogs wanted more space.
I meant to say dog dad when I introed you.
Definitely the ultimate dog dad. People bring their pets into the office all the time. They bring their dogs into the office all the time. And once that happens, there goes my whole day. Because now I'm on the ground with the dog playing, and they come in and they might have clients, but you'll have, hey, that's my broker owner. He's on the ground right there with the dog, so.
That's awesome.
Say that.
Well, what's your favorite streaming show, like Netflix show, and what are you watching now?
Wow. So interestingly enough, I have been pretty bored with a lot of the things that have come out lately.
Yeah.
And so I guess the most recent one that I love is Peaky Blinders. Have you seen that?
I tried it, and it was hard to understand first couple episodes, and I was like, I'm out.
You have to have subtitles. You have to have the subtitles on there. So Peaky Blinders, and by the way, I'm British. Actually, I was born in England. My whole family's out from there, so I got a little bit more to home on that. But the funniest thing is, I try to get into a lot of these new streaming shows, and I'll watch some here and there. But I still keep going back to, in my opinion, the greatest show of all time, and I've seen it probably, I don't know, 40 times now, and I still keep watching it. And that's what I'm watching last night. That's what I was watching last night, which is The West Wing. I don't know if you watched The West Wing.
I haven't.
That is it's good. Well-written, wittiest, greatest show ever. So I still keep watching The West Wing.
I might check it out. Awesome. Sure. Nimesh, I can't thank you enough for coming on Breakfast with the Broker. I think, in summary, it is all about cultures, propping each other up. And, we're doing this all together, and we're bringing out, as far as technology, keep it simple. Video is it. Be yourself and always do a good job, but don't do paralysis by analysis. So certainly appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate this. It's an honor. I do love what you've been doing. I've been watching you as well. But I guess one last piece of message that I give out to the audience right now is have compassion. Guys, have understanding for anybody around you. You don't know what they're all going through. You don't know if somebody has a sick family member. You don't know if they've lost their job. You don't know if their financial situation. So, let's not be quick to judge. Whether it's a client, whether it's another agent, whether it's another broker, let's all just have a little bit, just sit back for a second and listen and have a little bit of compassion and understanding. And I guarantee it goes a longer way for you and your, as a person, but then also in your career to be successful. That's what you're going to be known for.
Love it. 2020, the year of empathy. And I think it's so important to really just sit back and not don't worry about being heard, worry about being, listened to. So, I think it's, or listening to. So thanks, Nimesh. I appreciate it. Have a great week. Remember, Breakfast with the Broker every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Or sometimes we have special treats at 10 a.m. So thanks so much, guys.
All right.
Be well.
Bye.
Bye.